Hey everybody, coming up on Sports Central, Wob Williams from Sun and Fun. That's going to be an exciting event this year. Becky Afonso from the Florida Bicycle Association. And we have Gino Yockler talking about the World Record Championships right here in Polk County. Stick around for this edition of Sports Central. Hey everybody, and welcome to Sports Central. I'm Mark Jackson. To my right, my co-host, Mr. Neil Duncan, the one, the only. Neil, it's great to have you on set again today.
I'm just excited to be in your presence, sir.
Well, it's my honor, it's my pleasure, and this particular segment being brought to you by Contempo, vacation rental homes. I mean, these guys are fantastic. They're busy. They're full.
Well, whether it's a
Everybody's full.
whether it's a vacation home or a hotel motel, it's been a good season here in Polk County, and we're actually looking forward to some of the events that are going to continue that trend. It doesn't just end with the Tiger Spring Training or Russ Matt Spring Training. There's a lot of other events coming up real soon.
Hey, speaking of big events, it just came out in USA Today. What are people looking forward to the most in events this spring? What's most popular? Give a guess. What do you think they're looking forward to most?
Being outside?
That's not an event.
Oh, the event they're looking forward to.
I know I ask tough questions. I'm a tough professor.
I don't know.
Actually, I'm an easy professor.
I don't know.
All right, Major League Baseball. Okay.
Okay.
I shouldn't be reading from USA Today because the Ledger, but the Ledger didn't have this in there.
Oh, okay.
So the Ledgers are great friends, great publication. NCAA basketball championships is number 2 at 38%. Major League Baseball season, 47%. NFL draft right up there at 34%. That's amazing.
That's a big one.
NBA playoffs, 32%. And the Masters Golf Tournament, 20%. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, it makes sense. And of course, here in Florida, it's about getting outside, right?
That's why we're overrun with tourists right now. It's awesome.
We have a lot of running events here in Polk County, but cycling is also a big industry too.
You see the Chain Lake Cycling Classic? Did you get a chance to get?
I didn't get a chance to be there, but I know you were texting me about it and how great of an event it was.
Oh, it was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. It was right downtown Winter Haven, and we had Dan Rooney on the show a few weeks ago to talk about it. It was exciting, phenomenal event. But here to talk about cycling in general, March is Florida Cycling Month or Bicycle Month. Becky Afonso, Executive Director of the Florida Bicycle Association, the guru of cycling in the entire state of Florida, is here in the studio. Imagine that. Becky, welcome. Glad to see you again.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I'd love to talk bicycle. I get paid to ride. So I'm all about it.
Pretty good gig, huh?
It's a great gig. In fact, this morning I was in Temple Terrace with a ride with the mayor. We rode with Mayor Cholera and Cholera with Tampa Bay Cycle. Nice little neighborhood ride, but great event, close to 100 people there.
Yeah. Paid to cycle. I know a few people like that. Not a lot, but yeah.
And this is, like you said, Florida Bike Month, and we've had events listed on our website. A couple events that are even coming up right here in the area of District 1, FDOT District 1. This weekend we've got the Royal Palm Classic, which is the Calusa Riders Bicycle Club event.
Yep.
And I believe the Friends of the Legacy Trail are actually doing a Tour de Parks. And then at the end of the month, the Punta Gorda is putting on an event, Pedal and Play in Paradise. Maybe a little outside of Polk County, but with our Bicycle Association being a statewide nonprofit, I'm working with the Florida Department of Transportation, so I divide things up by their districts. Keeps things in my head straight.
Well, obviously, the Florida Bicycle Association created in 1997. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. What were some of the reasons why the association was created? I'm sure sharing the roadways has got to be part of that, and safety sharing the road.
Right. A little before my time, and I'm sure there's the history. Well, we do have a history on our website. It actually came from an emotional response to 2 fatalities from a group of cyclists, and I can't place exactly the location. It was probably around Gainesville or in that area. But it was a driver of a motor vehicle that turned, and the cyclists were actually pulled off the side of the road, and they were killed. So this was a inception of needing to address education with regards to not only cyclists and where they need to be in the road, but motor vehicle drivers and how to treat cyclists when they're on the road. So that's what's been going on since 1997. I've been a member since 1998. I did come in with a double digit, so I'm not in the 3 digits or 4-digit numbers in the membership pool. And one of the things over the years that have developed from the association was the creation of this law enforcement guide. So we do this for cyclists and for law enforcement agencies. It's the current laws for the bicycle community. And it's a comprehensive guide, and it's actually on the other side does pedestrian. So bike ped issues tend to be related. We're all vulnerable users out on the roadways, and this is what we address through the association: education and then advocacy to get better laws for vulnerable users.
Well, one of the ways you promote yourself is through the messenger.
This is true.
It's a quarterly publication, I believe, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And that goes out to all the members, but it also goes to the legislators and of making them aware. And it's a lengthy question to get around to my point that Polk County has done an enormous amount of improvements to make the county more cycling friendly. I know Ryan Kordick, whom you know,
Yes.
from the TPO, has just been a staunch advocate of cycling, and that whole organization has been tremendous. But I noticed it too, you know, you're driving down like Cypress Gardens Boulevard, very busy, but there's a cycling lane. I mean, and they designed it that way. So it's really obviously makes your job a little bit easier, but also just by virtue it's there, it makes people aware that, hey, there may be somebody in this lane.
Right, and on a state level, we can, you know, I can actually go to legislative in the state level and ask for certain things to be done. But on a regional or local level, right here in Polk County, you have the Polk Area Bicycling Association, PABA, that's a bicycle club, and they've been working with getting in that region with the TPO. You know, can we do signage? Can lanes be available here? And that's what, I can't do that across the state for every municipality, but I can help any municipality with information if they need it from the state level. If somebody emails me a question, I could answer that. Or I can source it up to the Florida Department of Transportation. Being associated with the bike ped coordinators in the 7 districts, being associated with the bike ped coordinator in the road design, and being associated with the bike ped coordinator in the safety office. And the safety office right now is actually running a campaign, a safety awareness outreach campaign called Alert Today, Alive Tomorrow. And instead of just hitting the cyclist community, this is going a little bit more broader. They've had campaigns at Jacksonville Jaguar football games. They were at the Daytona 500 as a named title sponsor for the 300, which was the Saturday race. And this Sunday, we'll be at the Tampa Bay Lightning game with Alert Today, Alive Tomorrow. And this is the shirt I've got from the event, which we're going to be, when I say giveaway, it's a handout. What we do is we have a safety survey that anybody that wants this shirt has to take the survey. It's about 6 questions of current law and then 6 questions of concerns. Like, do you feel safe on the roads if you're riding your bike? And they answer these questions. We actually walk them through the answers on the first side, which is the laws, the current laws, such as what is the minimum distance for passing a cyclist, and they have choices. And I'm not going to give it away in case anybody out there is going to the game. And once they go through it and we walk them through it, then we hand them a goodie bag, and this is the part of the package is the Florida Bike Month shirt with Alert Today, Alive Tomorrow in the front. And this is something that the Department of Transportation worked with, and we got our name on it in partnership with them for Florida Bike Month. So we're all very excited to be a part of that with the Florida Department of Transportation. These are our allies, these are our friends. This is how we're going to get Complete Streets implemented and how we're going to do a broader band outreach to Floridians in general and motorists and make the streets safer for all the users.
Yeah, because the education is obviously twofold. There's the education of the cyclist, what they can do and can't do on the roadways, but they can know the whole thing if the people behind the wheel don't know the rules, it
Right.
causes an issue, right?
Right. It's always something that it's just a lack of understanding. If a cyclist is a little bit out from the right where everybody thinks they need to be, that's not necessarily the case of their safety. They need to be in the lane a little bit more for visibility, or you never know what's on the far right. Could be debris, broken glass, whatever it is. So a lot of motor vehicle drivers think, well, you're not supposed to be there, but yeah, they are.
Okay. Well, one of the things we do an awful lot of, and we look at individual sports and what are the trends, where's the sport of softball, where's it going? Well, they're losing members, participants, if you will, sort of in the middle brackets. Girls fast pitch softball, growing strong. That particular segment we target. Senior softball, growing by leaps and bounds. We target that. Cycling across the country is growing in popularity. How about in Florida?
You know, it's strange. Everybody would think with a high pedestrian bike fatality rate, cycling's not growing. However, I just read some reports that 44% of the tourists that come down into Florida are looking for bicycling opportunities. Now, you may be talking on a sport race level, but recreational use is huge in the state of Florida. This is where your snowbirds are coming down because they can't ride in the slush snow or below zero temperatures, unless they really want to. But they can come down here and ride virtually anywhere. And we've got some great things going with the Florida Greenways and Trails Foundation, working on a coast-to-coast connector trail where they're going to close those gaps and run it from Titusville down to St. Pete. And if you go onto that website, there's numerous other trail projects.
Does that go through Polk County?
You know, Polk County's going to make a connection from the Fort Fraser to the Van Fleet, I believe is what they're working on.
And that runs right through the...
And the Van Fleet will connect.
The Auburndale or Tico Trail, as we call it sometimes. Yeah, that's great stuff. We've just got about 20 seconds here. And one of the things I think is really important for people that are interested in cycling and staying safe while they're cycling, they can go to your website.
Absolutely. Our website is full of information. In fact, right now we're having a March Membership Madness campaign.
Oh, there you go.
And
March Madness.
You can join in at the supporter level or above, which is $50. We'll send you a water bottle. If you're already a member, you can make a donation for $25 and we'll send you a water bottle. And that's a polar water bottle. That's going to insulate the coolness a little bit better than just a regular water bottle.
And that's floridabicycle.org?
floridabicycle.org, spelled out.
floridabicycle.org, spelled out. Very good. Becky, it's always a pleasure.
Oh, well, thank you,
we
Mark.
always
I
learn
appreciate
something
it.
when you
Yes,
come,
it's
when
great
you come
time.
over or you come to the office or whatever it may be. So I thank you. And
Well, I'll try not to be a stranger.
Yeah, there you go. You need to hang out a little bit more. Well, everybody, an important part of an Ironman, whether you're an adult or you're a child, is cycling. But there's two other events in there as well: swimming and running, which don't have any interest in doing. No.
I would, but so far.
Anyway, we have some great footage from Iron Kids, actually from last year. It's coming up this year, April 11th. Some great action. Check this out, Mark and Deal. We'll be back with Gino Yockler on the Chain of Records, and that is exciting as well. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll see you in a minute.
I'm the race director for the Iron Kids Triathlon Series. We have over 30 events nationwide that focus on swimming, biking, and running. And we are happy to be here in Haines City producing the United Healthcare Iron Kids Florida Triathlons. This is our second year with the Iron Kids race, as well as the Ironman 70.3 race. We moved over here 2 years ago from another location, and we're glad to be here. We have great support from Haines City and Polk County, and this is a great venue to host an Iron Kids race at. We have over 350 kids here racing today here in Haines City. They swim in the Lake Eva Community Center pool, and then they will bike throughout the streets of downtown Haines City, and then they will complete their run throughout the park here at Lake Eva, and then they will cross the finish line in the middle of the park, in the middle of the Ironman and Iron Kids Expo.
There's approximately 1,500 athletes registered for the Ironman, and there were 350 registered athletes for Iron Kids. For registration, we were checking kids in, making sure they knew what to do, making sure their parents knew what to do, just giving direction as to where to go on the course, where transition is, and just giving them general information.
The best part of being a race director is seeing all these young kids out here really embracing the sport of triathlon. You know, some kids choose soccer, some kids choose baseball. These kids have chosen triathlon as their sport. They're participating in 3 sports all at once, so it's really cool to see the growth of triathlon and the growth of youth triathlon. So that's the most rewarding part about being an Iron Kids race director. The venue here is absolutely beautiful. The finish line has a great location. We're using the pool here for the kids. It's a great pool, perfect for our young athletes, and we're just happy to be here at Lake Eva Park in downtown Haines City. Working with Haines City and working with Polk Counties has been extremely rewarding, and we're looking forward to future years out here.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Sports Central. Having a great time here today, Mr. Duncan, and
As always.
don't the purple. What was that again?
I don't know what you're talking about. This segment of Sports Central brought to you by the Holiday Inn Winter Haven. Just trying to keep you out of trouble.
Yeah, yes, sir. Hey everybody, we've got a lot of action in Polk County during the month of March, and please don't blame us. Well, you can blame us, I guess, for all the busy tourism traffic. Golf courses are full and lakes are full. Speaking of lakes,
Don't blame, appreciate on tax day, because those tourists are the reason we don't pay personal income tax in the state of Florida. So don't blame, appreciate.
that's one of the most insightful.
That's what I'm here for. Can I go? I don't want to go. I want to hear this next interview.
Oh, it's awesome. Well, everybody, some of you know, I was involved in water skiing for many, many years, and one of the guys I skied with for many, many years is Gino Yacular. And Gino is a world record holder, particularly well known for what we call the sky ski. We're going to talk a little bit about his adventures on a sky ski and explain what that is. But he's here to talk about a world record attempt, albeit 22 of them?
Well, it's probably going to be 25-ish. We have right around 25 or 26 records that we're attempting to either set for the first time or to break existing records. Yep.
That's pretty amazing. Guinness, I'm even not sure. I guess Guinness, I think Guinness
Accreditation.
beer. I mean, we're pretty close to St. Patty's Day, but the Guinness
yeah.
Book of
The
World,
beer.
Guinness Book of World Records is going to be involved in this, certifying some of the records. Some of them evidently were too difficult to research to find out if they truly be a record. But the fact of the matter is, we know in the industry that they are. You're working with a lot of people: Jeremy Armstrong, Shauna Passanen, and a number of others to pull this off. Where's it taking place?
We are actually going to be all around where that bike path that we have out on the chain of lakes. So we're going to be on maybe on Lake Howard, but we're definitely going to be on Lake Eloise. We're going to be on Lake Hartridge. We may do some things on Lake Lulu, and then we're also going to venture off the chain up onto Grassy Lake up at Lucky Low Ski School.
Okay.
We're going to put together, get this, a 44-foot wide water ski ramp, and they're normally only 14 feet wide. So we're taking 4 ski jumps, 2 portable jumps that are 8 feet wide, and 2 regulation ramps, and putting them all together with I-beams and C-clamps, and then we're going to take as many people off of that ramp doing just a ride over at first, and then we're going to do front flips. We're going to shoot for about 10 people at one time off that ramp, and also 360 spins, gainers, and even if we have enough guys, we're going to try to set the record for the most Mobiuses off of one ramp, which is a full twisting backflip. Pretty impressive stuff.
2 circles that don't come together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna let y'all talk because I don't.
Well, no, Mobiuses are tough. You know,
That's what I'm
and-
saying.
You were one of the first ones to make a Mobius off the ramp, weren't you?
Yeah, I wasn't the first, but I was
Right there.
one of the first.
Yep.
Yeah. That was a tough one for me to learn. Well, you know, we didn't have guys like Gino around back then that I'd go, hey Gino, how do you know, what do you do? And you know, you just kind of experiment. Actually, I rapped the reverse way.
Yeah, Dave
And-
Reinhardt style, yeah.
Yeah. And Harold Cole actually was the first one
okay.
that we knew, well, in history to do it. And then Scotty got it, and you know, a few of us others.
Scotty makes it
Rob-
look easy, doesn't he?
He is so smooth.
Scotty Clack.
The chain of records involves both males and females.
Yes.
And are you going to do any any adagio or pyramids or you know any of that type of stuff?
Yeah, I'll give you a quick rundown. So we're going to do freestyle jumping, both off of a very large ski jump and also on a regulation ski jump. The current record is 7 guys doing front flips. So we're going to attempt to do 8, and then we're going to try to do 12 people off of that same ramp just doing ride overs, which is ridiculous, I know.
Yeah.
But they've done 11 before, so what's one more, right? And then we're going to go out and do adagio doubles. My wife and I will be participating in that one.
Okay.
And I don't know exactly how many couples is the record. We're still doing research on a lot of this stuff, but it's at least 12 couples out on the water. So you're looking at 24 people behind one boat, all tied to the rope. So, you know, we're going to have a really good pin puller. In case one of us falls, they have to yank that rope.
What kind of boat are you using?
We've got
I mean, that's
two-
the key thing. I mean, if you don't have the power, you can't do it.
Huge, yes. We're actually getting 2 triple rig 250 motors. So there's got 3 motors on the back. One of them is from Mad City, and they've got triple Evinrudes. They're all.
Mad City, meaning Madison, Wisconsin.
That is correct.
Okay, a ski club up there, about
Yep.
150 members.
Yep.
Okay.
And the other one is Mini Eska. Actually, I just messed that up. I think Mad City's Evinrude. I did that on the website too. Sorry, guys.
That's
Big
all right.
difference, Ford
Mad
and
City,
Chevy, right?
Yeah.
But Mad City's Evinrude. They've got the triple 250s, and then there's Mini Eska, who's got the Mercuries.
They're out of Whitewater, Wisconsin.
Yep, and they've got also 3 250s on the back of a 21-foot boat. So I mean, it just looks ridiculous. But
Yeah.
you got 750 horsepower, and we can pull pretty much whatever we want to.
Okay. So you've got those 2. You said there were 3, though. Where's the other one coming from?
Oh, 3 motors on 2 boats.
2? Okay.
Yeah.
Math was a little tough for me to follow on that one. I just, you know, just the way it goes sometimes.
You're talking about the Chain of Records event, number of lakes in Winter Haven, March 31st through April 5th. Is that correct?
Yep.
Where's the best for those of us that don't have a lot of ski knowledge, that don't really understand what you guys are talking about
Yeah.
as far as the technical side, but the viewing side, you know, going back, I guess I've got 2 questions. Where's the best place to see this if you're going to attend? And the other thing about the 10 or 12 people jumping off the ramp, going back to Cypress Gardens days, how many people were jumping at that time? To put it in perspective for what you'll actually be able to
Depending
see.
on your definition of Cypress Gardens days, his is probably a little different than mine, but
Whoa! It's not that. We ski together, don't forget.
Dan,
Kids these days. And then that rock music they listen to.
to answer your question, the record for the most front flips off of any structure is 9, and that is held by Cypress Gardens. And let's see, I can't name off all the guys, but I'm pretty sure Scotty Clack and Brian Voisard and a bunch of other guys from back in the day, quote unquote, were in that. And I was so impressed with that, and that was kind of an inspiration for us to do this. Yeah.
But the regular in-show was what, 4 or 5?
We would do 4 typically in a ski
Okay.
show, and
So
now
you're doubling that. what you
Sometimes 5.
saw.
Yeah,
You know, we have a
sometimes
big
5.
show, packed crowd or whatever.
Right.
We'd send 5. We'd go
Every
out.
once in a while, they'd have the Jackson 5, all of his family off the ramp doing.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool seeing 5 guys all related to do front flips. You don't see that very often. So very talented family pool there.
Yeah, thank you, Gino.
But anyway, just
But I mean, you've got to really be excited about this because I
Yeah.
mean, this is. I know it's something that you've talked about for a while, but the planning and and we started talking about it maybe 7 months ago.
It was probably in that neighborhood, yeah. To put it all in perspective, we went to the world's water ski show competition where we had 5 countries there, and it was China and Belgium and Australia, the U.S., and also Canada.
Yep.
And we of course blew the socks off everybody. However, the water was freezing, and so was the air. And I said, you know what? Next time we do something big like this, let's do it in warm weather. Maybe somewhere like, I don't know, Polk County, Florida, right? So now we're going to do it on the chain of lakes, and this is where I live. I love this area. You can even go on our Facebook page for the Chain of Records, and there's a short little video on there. Also, chainofrecords.com. That's where you can register if anybody has an interest in being part of the event. It's $25 to be an entry person, and if you want the T-shirt, it's another $5, which is going to be cool. Yeah, this is going to be one of those events. It's a life experience for me, building up to this moment. All the experiences, not only me, but all the people coming to the table. We're doing things nobody's ever tried to do 25 world records in one weekend.
Yeah.
That's going to be just crazy.
It's going to be awesome. What are some of the acts? You're talking about. We were talking a little bit about pyramid, adagio doubles, which are couples. Of course, then you have trios and other forms. But are the girls going to be doing anything like swivel line or Shauna?
Yes.
Of course, is a national champion barefoot water skier. And tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we're going to do, and to answer your question way back about 5 minutes ago, Lake Silver is actually where we're going to be hosting a few of the records. Around 5 o'clock p.m. on Friday night, we're going to do the most front flips. And then on Saturday, they have the All-American going from noon till about 4 or 5 o'clock. And then after the All-American show tournament, we're going to do the most ballet girls. And that's going to consist of just going straight, doing leg moves. We're going to do over 30, because the record currently is 30 girls behind one boat. Okay. And then we're going to do the most swivel girls at one time, which I believe the record's 24, held by Cypress Gardens.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
We got some real talent out there. We got a couple of minutes left, and for the people, Neil addressed this a little bit earlier, but Lake Silver is in downtown Winter Haven. It's where the ski jump is, sort of off of. I was going to say Central, but it's First Street.
Yep.
So it's right off of First Street, and it's just north of Central and First.
Right across from the hospital.
Right across from the hospital. There you go. And it's a gorgeous lake. That's where the Cypress Gardens ski team performs.
shows.
Oh, it's awesome. They do a great job. Mark Voisard and all that crew. You still skiing over there?
Every so often I'll make an appearance. Cypress Gardens ski team out there.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you just find yourself with just so many hours in a day, and I'd love to participate, but.
Gino, we weren't scheduled to talk about this, but I'm going to bring it up.
Okay.
You've held the record on number of records on hydrofoiling or sky ski or
Air chair,
air chair,
things, yep.
or whatever it is. Tell us what an air chair is, and tell us a little bit about some of your, phenomenal records and experiences on that, because you don't see that on the front page of the Ledger every single day.
Yeah. Well, just to start, the hydrofoil started on boats back in the early 1900s, and they turned into water skis back in the 1960s. They went to what they are today, a sit-down hydrofoil is the clinical term for it, and that started in 1990 with the air chair, and then sky ski came out in 1998. And then, of course, since then, there's been a lot of improvements. And on those improvements, I've been able to do a lot of things that you just couldn't do on the old equipment. So I currently hold the record for the most flips in 1 hour, and that is 826 flips, which is one flip every 4.3 seconds.
Man.
Wow. I can't even compute that.
You didn't put a GoPro on, did you?
We actually had a lot of camera angles. That's on the internet as well.
Okay.
Tom Reed came out.
Okay. You can go. When you say the internet, you mean it's on YouTube?
Yep,
or?
yep. There's a YouTube video. You can just search my name. You'll see all kinds of different videos. That's Gino Jochler. You probably have it on the little prompter there.
Well, these guys are good back here. So anyway, but that had to be just phenomenal, getting on that and then getting to the level where you are now. Because it was like the entire air chair or hydrofoil crew, and then like Gino's up here. It's like no different than. There's so much difference, rather. It's just incredible. But, that's got to be, how fast do you go when you...
I ride about 27 miles an hour.
Okay.
The average person, when they first start out, goes about 15 miles an hour. So, and speed doesn't necessarily mean better talent. It just means that you have the opportunity to go really big.
Okay.
So I guess we're running low on time.
Well, we're running a little bit low on time, but it's a great subject. I mean, we could sit here all day. Gino and I could sit here and talk about it all day, but is there a website people can go to for more information?
Yep. Go to www.chainofrecords.com. And again, you can see all the action, where it's happening, when it's happening, and you can also sign up if you are an avid water skier and you'd like to be a part.
March 31st through April 5th. This is going to be an exciting time in Winter Haven. Of course, this is the water ski capital of the world, Polk County, Florida. And Gino, we're glad you moved down here from up north, and you certainly have done tremendous things. Just another one. Feathers in your hat, and we appreciate all you do for Polk County and the sport of water skiing. Great job.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, we're going to go from one water sport to another, the Rowdy Cup. And that's held every spring right here in Polk County. Rowdy Gaines, the namesake of that particular event, is held at the Chain of Lakes complex at the Rowdy Gaines Pool. Check this action out. Mark and Neil, we'll be back right after this.
The Rowdy Cup is traditionally the first long course meet of the year in the state of Florida. And long course meaning that the swimmers swim 50 meters rather than short course, which is 25 yards. So being the first long course meet of the year, we have over 631 swimmers from all around the state of Florida that are coming to swim here this weekend. Just this weekend alone, we'll have over close to 400 heats, which are races that'll be conducted tonight, Friday, all day Saturday, and all day Sunday. So it's a good opportunity. We have all the age groups from 8 and under. We'll have 5-year-old, 6-year-old kids, as well as 18, 19-year-old. Even we have some kids that have qualified for the Olympic trials that'll be swimming tomorrow as well.
The Rowdy Gaines pool is a full-size Olympic pool. It's 50 meters long and 25 yards wide. The max depth is 6 foot 8 inches, and it holds over 400,000 gallons of water.
This is our first long course meet of the summer, and it's a great way for our team to kick off. It's a local meet, and we always try to support the local meets in the area. We had a great fall and spring. We had kids qualify for high school states and Florida age group championships, and we're really excited about where the team's going and the progression of the team, because we've only been around for 4 years now.
Being a deck ref, I'm responsible for the swimmers that are in the pool, making sure that the right swimmer is in the right lane during the right heat, and as well as they adhere to the rules of USA Swimming to maintain the integrity of the race, and also, first and foremost, to ensure the safety of the swimmers in the pool. The Rowdy Cup is very significant, especially to us here in Winter Haven, because it's named after Rowdy Gaines, 3-time Olympic gold medal winner who's from here. The pool is named after him. And after his Olympic swimming career, he moved into broadcasting, and now he's considered the voice of USA Swimming. And we're very proud of Rowdy. He gives back to his community. These kids are thrilled to be able to swim in the Rowdy Gaines pool, and also thrilled to see him on TV being associated with world-class swimming. So it's a real thrill for all of us.
Hey everybody, and welcome back once again for segment number 3. This segment being brought to you by Bright House Networks and also our good friends at Visit Florida.
Absolutely.
And that segues beautifully, Mr. Duncan, into our next guest, Rob Williams, who is with Sun and Fun, and actually more in the educational component of Sun and Fun. Sun and Fun, the state's largest convention, and it's right here in Polk County. It has been for 29 years. Is that close?
It's maybe the 41st year this year we're having.
I knew that. Okay, I was just testing you to make sure.
After all these years, all the events run together, right, Mark?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that run together as you get a little bit older. Some days I just have a tough time remembering what I had for breakfast.
Yeah, you were in your mid-30s when Sun and Fun started, right?
Yeah, pretty close.
Rob,
you
we
think
were
you're
talking.
going to live to be that
No,
long?
I don't think so. But Rob, welcome to the show. We were talking earlier about, the flying is so important to Polk County and the amount of economic impact that it generates, but it's so much more important than just that one event.
Correct.
What does it bring to the Sun and Fun campus?
Well, Sun and Fun itself is a 501c3 and also is the Florida Air Museum. So Sun and Fun, the event, the largest convention in the state of Florida, is a fundraiser for our year-round educational programs. So it used to be known as Spring Break for pilots. We're also happening to be a brighter future through aviation. So the programs we provide throughout the year for the young men and women out there to get them into the field of aerospace, to have them achieve their dreams with the help of all of our wonderful volunteers and professionals we have out there on our campus.
Rob, you're kind of crossover between the Central Florida Aerospace Academy, some of the students over there, my son being one of them, my youngest son that is, and he absolutely loves it. He's moving into the aerospace aviation industry, wants to be an Air Force fighter pilot.
Great.
When he's all done with going to Embry-Riddle and so on and so forth. But the Sun and Fun event really funds your activities throughout the course of the year as well.
That's correct.
I mean, that's really what the primary purpose is, not just driving economic impact, which we all love. Yeah.
Correct, absolutely. We were very fortunate. We just finished up with an international UAV or drone competition in partnership with Lockheed Martin and the Society of Automotive Engineers. So we had 75 colleges representing 9 countries converge on the Sun and Fun Convention campus for a 3-day event highlighting and displaying their drones. And it was 700 future engineers were impacted by Polk County this last weekend out here. So that's one of the programs. We also have Aerospace Discovery Weekend that happens out there. So we have about 800 to 900 scouts that get up and have a chance first time in an airplane.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Boy Scouts,
Yep.
Girl Scouts, or
Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Royal Rangers,
Okay.
anybody that wants to come on out
Okay.
and enjoy the weekend. $30 for the weekend in October. They get dry camping and they get a chance to get up and have their first flight in an aircraft.
I prefer dry camping as opposed to wet camping on any day of the week. But when is Sun and Fun coming up?
Sun and Fun is April 21st through the 26th this year.
Okay, a little bit later.
Yes, sir. A little bit
Okay.
later. We're trying to not interfere with Easter weekend. So that's why it's further back this year. The rest of the future years are going to be earlier on in April. But this year at Sun and Fun, we have fantastic events. First time ever in the United States, we have the Breitling jet team. So L-39 Albatrosses from Dijon, France, have been shipped over in crates. It was quite a sight to see them show up on our campus, and they're being assembled right now. And they're going to be performing Thursday. Our lead-off act is the Breitling jet team.
Okay.
And so they'll be there in addition to the Thunderbirds. And they're going to be our jet team this year. So we'll have 2 jet teams this year.
Okay.
First time ever. And then you also have your Warbirds, classic Warbirds, flying in the airs all the time. The Geico Sky Typers, I can't even tell you. We saw them out there practicing yesterday. So it's just really unique event to be a part of.
When you talk about the show itself, it's tremendous on its own merit. You throw in the Thunderbirds, I mean, they're there.
Oh, yeah.
you,
Oh, yeah.
you hear them, but that show is something else. It's one of those, it's not, I've seen it once, I'm good. Every year you want to go see those Thunderbirds.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're fortunate to alternate between the Thunderbirds and Blue Angels every year. So last year's Blue Angels, this year's the Thunderbirds. So happy to have them both represented.
And the pricing remains to be very affordable. If you're looking for a weekly pass, it's $150, I believe. Daily pass for adult is $37. Youth 11 to 17. Correct me if I'm wrong on these numbers. $60 for the week or $15 for a single day entry. And then 10 and under, they're free.
Correct, yeah.
All week, all the time.
And you get to not just the air show, we actually have a lot of phenomenal forums and speakers there also throughout the week. For instance, Gary Powers Jr. will be there this year talking about his father's U-2 mission. We'll have Jessica Cox. She has a phenomenal story she tells. She was born with no arms and she can actually fly an airplane using just her feet. So it's a really unique story. The SR-71 pilots will be there. And for those the show Airplane Repo, We have Ken Cage and Danny Thompson will be there talking about their tales of airplane repo out there. The forums, a big deal this year coming out, are the UAV contest like we talked about, so that's a hot topic for everybody. So we're actually very fortunate to have Jim Williams from the FAA come and speak to us about general aviation and how it's relating to unmanned aerial vehicles in the future. So that's very unique out there.
Well, one of the things we're obviously very proud of as part of our community here in Polk County is Sun and Fun, but the state recognizes it too, and the official Convention and Visitors Bureau tourism recruiting arm of the state is Visit Florida. And of course we have the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association, which is run by the lovely Carol Dover. But they have recognized the impact, the importance of this event for the state of Florida and have gotten behind this. And it's one of the great things about Visit Florida. They get it. They understand how the state makes money. It's one of the reasons Neil and I were talking a little earlier. So one of the reasons that we don't pay personal income tax in the state of Florida is because of tourism. I love that when April 15th or whenever that day comes around. But you certainly have to be happy to be associated with a lot of really impressive sponsors. Visit Florida, Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association, but you have many more.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
That really make it happen.
Absolutely. Without our volunteers first and foremost and our sponsors, also this event couldn't happen. So we're very fortunate to have a wide range of sponsors representing a wide array of offerings out there for people. For instance, this year we've paired with jsfirm.com to offer our second annual career fair. So all the folks coming in here, we're trying to place them into aerospace careers. So it's a career fair we're hosting in Aerospace Discovery at Florida Air Museum during the fly-in.
So you actually run the experience at the old museum?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's actually transforming from a museum into a hands-on educational learning center. So we've renamed it Aerospace Discovery at Florida Air Museum, which is the official aviation and education learning center of the state of Florida.
There
yes,
you go.
Sir.
So the state's really,
Correct.
it's not a circuitous route getting there, but that's the importance of Sun and Fun. The one that's bigger is the one up in Wisconsin.
Correct.
I'm from Wisconsin.
I'm aware.
And that's at Oshkosh.
I will tell you, the Southern hospitality that we've noticed from our visitors down here is amazing.
Yeah.
You go to Oshkosh and you enjoy Oshkosh, and it's a phenomenal event. But here, you feel like you're home when you come here. And we have to thank all of the home felt volunteers that we have here that make everybody welcome, and all of our help from our sponsorship, making this really a down-home event for everybody. So we're happy for that.
When you talk about volunteers, this event's not an event you volunteer. When to start, like on a Sunday or a Monday?
It starts Tuesday this year.
This year. You don't start then if you're a volunteer.
No, sir.
They've been going at this for probably 4, 5, 6 months, right?
Correct. Yeah, we actually have 3 types of volunteers out there. So we have our yearly birds that volunteer on a year-round basis, early birds that come in a certain amount of time before the show, and then we have our fly-in birds that come in and help out strictly for the fly-in. So we'll figure about 3,000 volunteers. We have a great volunteer coordinator out there that keeps them all together and tries to point them in the correct direction out there, Robin McFarland, if she's here listening. But yeah, so without volunteers, this event definitely could not happen.
And quite simply, you couldn't afford to pay that kind of staffing for
Absolutely,
an event.
no.
Yeah, well, you know the most impressive crew to me? I just like to go out there and just watch them. The guys that ride around in the tractors, and they have a trailer they tow behind it, and they do all the garbage.
The Raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always wanted to ride on the back of a dump truck, though. 60 years later, I still haven't been able to accomplish that.
Well, maybe through.
You come out to the fly and we can make that happen for you.
Put a hat on me, some black socks, and I'm ready to go. Right?
Absolutely. We'll get you signed up.
We might need to take a camera out for that. I don't think we want to miss that.
But I mean, all is part of it, And I was talking to exchanging some emails and so on with Bob Knight, chairman, and of course I always like to go back to the founding of Sun and Fun and how impressive that was. Gene Engel, so instrumental, and Duffy and some of the rest of these guys that are, Gene's still around, of course, but Bob runs a mega engineering firm. His hands are full, yet he is the chairman of Sun and Fun. It is absolutely amazing when we have people like that in our community that give back, and it's not so much the financial side of things, it's the one thing they never get back, and that's their time. Yes. And Bob Knight gives his time and his guidance. He's a very bright guy.
We're very fortunate to have Mr. Knight.
Big time. He is an awesome guy.
He actually assisted, along with Knight Industries, of getting every one of the freshmen at CFA up in a flight this year. So from now on in the future, every freshman that comes through will have an opportunity to get up in a flight. So everybody that graduates from CFA will be able to say, we flew in an airplane.
Yeah.
And not any other high school in the entire United States can say that.
No, it's a great program. I mean, John Small has just done a marvelous job. You know, I really don't think the citizens of Polk County realize how much he has done for the kids of this community to put them on a career path that is ultimately going to get them a job. And I can, you know, like I tell my students, and college students, I said, look, your job is to get a job. That's why you're here. You know, you can look at life enhancement or whatever. No, your job is to get a job. You know, that's what I tell my own kids. Get moving, man. You know.
And we actually have a very fortunate part during the Flying and Education Day where we highlight local schools and what they're doing in their educational programs out there. So what part of the things that we do at Sun and Fun is give back through scholarships. So to date, we've given away $400,000 in scholarship yearly. We've gotten 100 flight scholarships, and we've made over 20 private pilots to date. We're looking to add to that number daily. And so we're really proud of being able to give back and inspire and encourage the next generation of professionals.
Well, one of the emphasis of education for a long time, higher education, is keeping our students, once they go off or either come back, to keep them here in the Polk County area, and this certainly affords that opportunity in a different career path that wasn't there before.
Correct. And through Travis Tech, through Polk State College, who offers the only bachelor's degree in aerospace from a public institution in the state of Florida, right here in Polk County, and Florida Polytechnic, we can keep our talent right here in Polk County and grow.
Well, that's so important. It's one of the things that's critically important about Skills USA that's coming in. In fact, I'm not sure if there's a aerospace aviation component to Skills USA, but it's moving the students from the classroom into the workforce in a seamless way. And, you know, obviously you're involved in that on a daily basis as well. We appreciate it, Rob. That's a great story. Again, the Sun and Fun, the 41st Sun and Fun fly-in, and I still like to call it a conference in some ways, but presented by Visit Florida and the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association. Great partners. We can't say enough about what they do. Will Seckham and Carol Dover and the entire crew up there.
Yeah.
But good stuff. Rob, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
We appreciate it. And say hi to Lights for us as well.
Will do.
Okay, great stuff. Well, one of the things, or one of the individuals, ladies and gentlemen, that you have met on this show, actually about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, his name is Caleb Smith. He goes to Lake Gibson High School. He turned out to be the state wrestling champion. I can't remember what weight. I think it's 136.
Sounds good.
It sounds good. If it isn't true, it should be. So there you have it. Anyway, Caleb was just a great. No, I think he's like 160 something or whatever. You know, dementia is a horrible thing, everybody. Caleb is not. He's a fantastic athlete and a real gentleman. Check him out. Mark and Neil will be back.
I'm Caleb Smith, wrestled 113 for Lake Gibson High School, third as a sophomore, second as a junior, and definitely this coming up state title run, I'll definitely be a state champ. I know that this is my last chance, so I have to go out and get it. You know, this is what I've been working for 4 years now, and I'm just ready to get it.
Don't break, right to it.
It's hard to keep going when you know, your body gets tired, you barely breathe, but eventually, if you really want to work for that goal, then eventually it will come with good effort and good work. You can't depend on anybody else but yourself, really. It's all up to you, what you do.
Caleb, hips up, Caleb. Take him off, Mason.
You know, wrestling 113, definitely smaller guys. It's the best thing about this sport, really, is it doesn't really matter. It's the most fair. You know, you have someone that you're going against that's your size. Cutting weight, definitely not. Definitely one of those things that is not fun. It's just a part of the sport. most cases, if you want to be really good, you're going to have to at least cut a little bit of weight.
Hurry up.
I want to go to D1 college, you know, because going and competing at that level knows that, you know, you kind of are one of the better people out there, you know. So I signed a letter of intent with the Citadel in South Carolina. My mom, you know, she's been there ever since I started wrestling. She's supported me the whole entire way, even though she may have not wanted to deal with all my weight cuts and everything, and but she's definitely even helped me with that, you know, being there for all my matches. Every time she can, she's always there. My coach, Danny Walker, he knows how I am, and definitely knows the things that need to be said to me.
Can you take this?
He knows that what can come out of me and what he expects. Yeah, on the board it says, Caleb, stop getting Caleb's way, because sometimes my biggest opponent is really just myself. Knowing that this is going to really be my last time in high school wrestling, it's definitely a little nerve-wracking. Really, I just believe that just pushes me a little harder, knowing that this is going to be my last time.
His opponent is 23-1, a senior from Lake Gibson, Caleb Smith.
Well, it feels pretty good to finally win state, you know?
Guess what? He got out of his own way. Now he's a state champion. No one can ever take that from him. This kid, he's wrestled hard for 4 years. He's broken his leg. He's broken his collarbone. He's had some tough times. And I tell you, he's disciplined. He's cut a lot of weight. He deserved to win the title.
Went out there, just try to get it done quick. Ended up finally getting it done quick, and, you know, that's all I could ask for.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Central. Neil Duncan, Mark Jackson, thanks so much for joining us. This segment being brought to you by our good friends at Visit Florida and the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association. Got to say shout out to Will Seckham and Paul Phipps and Carol Dover. Great folks, leaders in the tourism industry in the state of Florida, and with the record numbers that are coming in, their strategic plans are obviously working, and we're glad to work with them.
Well, and
a lot of fun.
You got to give credit where credit's due. Governor Scott has been completely behind tourism in the state, and there's a correlation between a larger budget for Visit Florida and larger numbers coming into the state.
It's very simple. You know, it was interesting. Neil, we were up in Tallahassee about a week ago with some of the commissioners, and from here, you know, let me tell you something. Our Polk County commissioners, they worked their tails off up in Tallahassee to make sure that the legislators are considering are going to benefit our citizens.
Right.
And all you have to do is go on one trip with them or just be around them while they're up there. I mean, it's morning, late at night. They're up there working, and we're working it hard. So kudos to our Board of County Commissioners and other city folks. It's good stuff.
Yeah, well, and sticking with the theme of successes recently, we want to say congratulations and good luck to the Florida Southern Moccasins men's basketball team as they're in the Elite Eight. They're headed up to Evansville, Indiana. In fact, they'll play this Wednesday at 7 p.m. At the Ford Center in Evansville in the Elite Eight, and we had Coach Link Darner on the radio version of Sports Central, of course, Talk 1430 WLKF last night, and team's hungry. They just, you know, they were there a couple of years ago, and they were happy to be there. There's a difference between being happy to be there and going and getting that national championship, and they're number one in the country. That's how they ended, ranked number one. They're 33-1 on the season. They're taking care of business, so hopefully another Florida Southern National Championship will come to us.
Well, a lot of champions coming out of Polk County. You know, we just saw Caleb, and you know he was phenomenal. Man, what a season that kid's had.
Yep.
That was great foot. You know, I wrestled in high school, and people just really don't realize how tough wrestling is, because it's both aerobic and anaerobic. You know, it's a lot of strength and then a lot of endurance, and you're just going at it.
Did they have room for the wrestling mat in that one-room classroom that you were in?
No, we weren't in a one-room classroom. We were in the Coliseum in Rome.
Well, some events coming up before we get in trouble. We already talked about it.
We're in our loincloths.
March,
and all of that.
March 31st through April 5th will be the Chain of Records that Gino was on here talking about. I'm not looking at you. Florida ISA 32nd Annual Umpires Classic will be Saturday, April 4th and 5th, and that's at the Bartow 555
There's so much
complex.
going on. It's incredible. And, of course, Sun and Fun coming up. You know, it's phenomenal. You know, you start breaking it down by quarters, and you look at the the amount of special events, sporting events that are going on. We still have 2 weeks to go with RussMat baseball. 215 collegiate teams from across the country. University of Wisconsin. You know, we've had Air Force, Army, Ohio State. You know, we've had some big D1 schools come into this over the years, and nonetheless, there are more people here this year that are coming with the teams than ever before. I mean, you look at the stands and they're full.
Absolutely.
It's just like absolutely phenomenal. What is it? 14 different facilities are being used to accommodate this over a period of 6 weeks.
That's a great, I mean.
Rebel Spring Games.
Yep.
Wrap that up. Of course, that's the softball version of spring training. The Detroit Tigers are looking good. Justin Verlander is, I think he's going to be on a hot streak here going into the season. He is really looking good. And David Price, you interviewed David Price during the Major League Scramble, and what a gentleman he is.
Yeah,
just a nice man.
Not only him, but also Justin. Justin is always so accommodating to us when talking and coming out for the Major League Scramble, and really the whole Tigers organization. But
Ron Myers is doing a phenomenal job.
Absolutely.
Can't say enough about him.
Yep.
So, and good to see Steve Quinn again this year,
Yep.
and Mr. Illich.
He was down.
He was down, and he is a great guy. You know, it's nice to be affiliated and work with such a classy, give-back-oriented organization.
Well, and Dave Dombrowski, I mean, there's a reason he's one of the top execs in baseball, but never before has the Tigers come down to Lakeland having won 4 straight division crowns, and that's what they're looking at. They're going to win their 5th, and they're kind of like the Florida Southern basketball team. They've been close the last few years, but now they want to go finish it, go win that World Series title for Mr. Illich.
I was looking at some stats on the Tigers last year, and they were, I believe it was in batting, their batting average was the highest in the majors. I believe it was 277 on base percentage. They were second. Slugging percentage, I think they were maybe 4th. And there was another category, I can't even remember what it was anymore, but they were, I mean, it was just like across the board, they're right at the top.
Well,
and should have been in the World Series last year.
You got to stay away from those key injuries. Of course, Miguel Cabrera hasn't been really part of spring training because he's on the mend coming back. So it really will come down to injuries and how that pitching staff will change a little bit. Of course, they lost Max Scherzer to free agency, but they brought in David Price at the end of last year. So we'll just see. But locally,
2 Cy Young Award winners.
Yeah, that's pretty good rotation. Oh. But an event I want to mention that's coming up April 10th and 11th, that we've actually had them on the show before, Winging It Festival, 2015
Bryce's
version.
Buddies.
Yeah, it's a great
childhood diabetes
great event.
Benefit. It is, and of course Bryce and his family, just wonderful people, but they put it all into this event. It takes place at the Winter Haven Airport,
right.
And it is a lot of fun. They do a great job with the bands. The food is outstanding. It's a good, safe, obviously benefiting childhood diabetes, a good, safe place to take your family, and just have a great time. You know, it's really good stuff. You got a lot of stuff sitting there, buddy.
There's a lot of events. Run the Ridge 5K at Lake Eva Park. That's Saturday, April 11th.
Got the Ironman coming up. Don't forget about that.
Same event, Iron Kids, Saturday, April 11th, and the Ironman is the next day on Sunday, April 12th.
Where?
That is at Lake Eva up there in Haines City.
Okay.
Great event. Don't forget, this is a great event. I like this. And the National Collegiate Paintball Association's national championships, and those are in Lakeland there at Central Florida Paintball, 9365 US Highway 98 North. Mustangs and Mustangs at Sun and Fun, Fancy a Flight
Yep.
That's a great event.
Kermit's
I think
doing
it's
well, by the way.
18th year of that event. That's crazy.
It's just like he's still going strong.
Yep.
So we've got some great stuff. We got some sponsors to thank, I believe.
New partner with Tourism and Sports Marketing, Harborside. We want to thank them, as well as new partner Ovations, and then Hampton Inn Winter Haven, Visit Florida, and the Trophy Shop, another new partner of Tourism and Sports Marketing.
You can check us out every single day. Just go to polk-county.net and click on the PGTV icon. And so many thanks go out to our friends and all the production crew here. And we also have to thank Megan Still for doing such a great job as our on-site director. She is going to be leaving, and we wish her very, very well. Ladies and gentlemen, our next live show will be April 3rd. Thank you so much for joining us. On behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, PGTV, and Polk County Tourism and Sports Marketing, we bid you adieu and have a great week.